So, I did one of these about 4 years ago, and it sucks. And I've got more records. So I'm gonna do another one, I guess. Right, we'll see how this goes. So these are in some kind of alphabetical order. Not exactly like Dewey Decimal System or whatever, but... So first we have DSU by Alex G. Alex G, or Sandy Alex G, kind of indie rock-ish. I got this one and the next one, House of Sugar, at the show that I went to see last year. They did have God Save the Animals, his newest album, and also Trick, but they sold out while I was in the queue. I did, however, recently snag Trick, and I'm so glad I waited, or was forced to wait, because it's on this really beautiful, they call it like German Shepherd, but it's like black and tan and whatnot, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking thing. So I'm really glad I saved it. Next, we have a live Barclay James Harvest album. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea who they are. Basically, I got this in a job lot of records, and there was some other stuff in the box that I wanted, so I just, thought I'd pick it up. Still haven't listened to it. Oops. Next, we have Depression Cherry by Beach House. I used to love these guys a lot. I mean, I still do, I just don't listen to them as much. But this one's really good because the jacket is like velvet, and it's so sick. I should probably get some more of their stuff. Next, we move on to the Beatles. What to say about these fellas, huh? I was just a Beatles kid in school, and yeah. So we've got Abbey Road, the White Album. This one's my favourite at the moment. Hard Day's Night in mono. This was my first vinyl I ever got. It was off a neighbour. The disc is scratched to all hell. It doesn't play, but it was fun to receive. My first actual record. Then Hard Day's Night in stereo. Now this one is in slightly better condition, I believe. Slightly better. Help. Let It Be. Magical Mystery Tour. I love the booklet in this one. Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Sgt. Pepper's. These, apart from the Hard Day's Night ones, are all the remasters that they did, so they're not original, but I still love them and still love playing them, and I'd love to finish the set at some point, especially Yellow Submarine, because how am I missing It's All Too Much on vinyl? Next, Bill Nelson's Red Noise with Sound on Sound. Now, if you like your Devos, your Andre Boingos, your Talking Heads, your XTCs, don't skip this. This one is absolutely insane in the best way possible. Especially Don't Touch Me I'm Electric. I love that song. But also Art Empire Industry. Art Empire Industry almost sounds like Cardiacs. Next, we have Bjork with Homogenic. Big Bjork fan. This is probably my favourite album of hers. And we also have Post. Definitely need more of her stuff on vinyl, please. Vespertine. Next up, we have Black Country New Roads, Ants from Up There. I'm a huge fan of the stuff that's coming out of London and the UK in general at the moment. The experimental rock, post-punky kind of stuff. This album, again, what can I say about it? I think it's dominated a lot of the conversation in music circles over the past couple of years, and rightly so. Also, for the first time, I got these two in a bundle actually, and this is the green one. It's kind of olivey green, it's a little bit marbled. And I also have Live at Bush Hall. This is obviously the first release of theirs since frontman Isaac left. And it's absolutely gorgeous, and it will be in my heart forever because I saw them live playing, not at this gig, but playing these songs. And rounding out the Black Country New Road, we have Never Again. This is a 4-track covers EP. It's got a couple ABBA covers, MGMT, Adele. They did a part 2 without Isaac, which I do want because it's got this gorgeous Regina Spektor cover on it. But this is fun and a little bit, of a different one. Hang on. Continuing the London trend, this is Cavalcade by Black Midi. Black Midi, oh man. Especially this era Black Midi, they are just on another level with these records. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. Shout out David Rudnick. Also, we have Hellfire by Black Midi. This album is kind of Cavalcade Part 2, but it's also not. Similarly, absolutely stunning. I think I might slightly prefer this one. Live K, this is like a live session that they did around the time of Cavalcade, and it's got this really crazy version of John L on it, and also a beautiful version of Despair, which was the B-side to John L back in the day. And finally, their debut Schlagenheim. This might still be my favourite Black Midi album, I guess. I just think it flows so well and they're doing so much interesting stuff. Not that they're not doing interesting stuff now. I think this is the one I return to the most. Next up, Parallel Lines by Blondie. This is one of the best kind of punky new wave albums to come out of the US during that really exciting late 70s period. Banger after banger after banger. Absolutely. Also, the artwork is great. Next up, Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan. I'm on a massive Dylan kick right now, and I'm trying to find some more of his stuff on vinyl, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite Dylan records, but it does have like a Rolling Stone, and Queen Jane approximately, and the title track, and Desolation Row, and From a Buick 6. It's great. Next up, Boy Genius self-titled EP. I am a huge Boy Genius fan. This EP meant so much to me. When I first heard it, I was like, yep, I get it. I'm enlightened. And the record. This, rightfully being postured as one of the best albums of last year. It was my favourite album of last year. It's like all the reasons why we love the songwriters we love from back in the last century, but being presented in a new and modern way. That's how I look at it anyway. Next up is Brass Construction's self-titled debut. Just some really fun, disco-y, funky, good times. And hey, again, check out the artwork. I'm a sucker for good artwork, what can I say? Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. This is probably one of his best albums. I don't know, I go back and forth between this and Born to Run. Both really, really great for almost different reasons. Sing to God by Cardiacs. This is who I was talking about earlier. Do you want just the weirdest thing you've ever heard? Listen to Eat It Up Worms Hero, okay? It's a double album. It's like an hour and a half long, and it just doesn't let up the whole time, both in its absolute insanity and peerless creativity. Teaser and the Firecat by Cat Stevens. I haven't heard this one yet. Again, this was another Job Lot one, but I listened to Tea for the Tiller Man the other day, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to getting to this. Grand National by Courting, another great kind of post-punky group out of Liverpool. These bands, I swear, they just like pump an album out every 2 seconds, and it's the best thing you've ever heard. But the EP is fun, and I got it signed. Feast by the Creatures. This is Susie, Sue, and Budgie from the Banshees. Kind of just going ham on a whole bunch of percussion. It's absolutely wonderful. Go check out Skytrain, please. Homework by Daft Punk. My favourite Daft Punk album. I just can't get enough of that like squelchy, punchy French house. Heartbreaker by Dionne Warwick. Haven't heard it, but it's Dionne Warwick, so I thought I would keep it. Some days this beats out of the blue for me. Like, I just think this one is absolutely stunning, especially the title track, aka Admission. Don't skip out on this one. Pearls by Elkie Brooks. Again, haven't heard it, but I loved the artwork. So, Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple. This dominated the conversation for a long time. And rightly so. I mean, it's just an absolutely stellar piece of work. The Secret to Life by Fizz. This is a supergroup consisting of Martin Luke Brown, Greta Isaac, Dodie, and Orla Gartland. This is just a really fun, like, let's just get in the studio and record whatever comes to mind kind of album. But it still feels cohesive, it still feels like one unit rather than just a sporadic set of songs. Saw them at an in-store show and got this signed. Very cool. Rumours by Fleetwood Mac, because it's Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. Abacab by Genesis, probably their best work of the 80s, honestly. They still had the weird in them, folks. They hadn't gone like full pop. Full pop isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying. Genesis Live, this is the Peter Gabriel, Steve Hackett era. Nursery Crime by Genesis. This one is great. Hey, all of Peter Gabriel era Genesis is great. Yeah, all of Peter Gabriel era Genesis is great. Back to Front by Gilbert O'Sullivan. Just some really great, like, 70s McCartney-ish. Definitely came from the Macca School of Songwriting. No Alone Again, unfortunately, but it does have Claire, which is a gorgeous song. Humans Live by Howard Jones. This one's a really fun, like 80s popish album. I love Conditioning off this thing. Gentlemen Take Polaroids by Japan. David Sylvian's a genius. But if we're speaking Japan, it's gotta be Tin Drum. There are whole artists and bands' discographies that can't stand up to Art of Parties alone, let alone any of the other things on this, like Ghosts or Still Life in Mobile Homes. Census Designated by Jane Remover. This is one of the newest things in my collection. I got it for Christmas. Just an absolutely stunning, like, post-rock, shoegaze, glitchy, whatever the hell this is, it's great. Okay, we enter the Janet collection. She's kind of one of the best to ever do it, so this is all for you. Then we have Control, self-titled. Well, yeah, ish. I mean, her debut was self-titled, but nobody really remembers it. Rhythm Nation 1814, and The Velvet Rope. This is probably one of my favorite albums ever. Certainly was a few years ago, like if you asked me then, I would have said this thing. I still would, but there's other things. It's a whole. Good at Falling by the Japanese House. Her debut album, I need the second one actually. Listened to this an awful lot when it came out, and it's just kind of stuck in my brain still. Okay, next we have Joni Mitchell Blue. This was a really great find when I first found it. I was like, oh my goodness, Joni Mitchell Blue. What can I say about Blue? Everyone knows this is great. I don't need to tell you that Joni Mitchell's great. Then we have Don John's Reckless Daughter. It's like an expansion of that Hejira world. A lot of people thought she went a bit too far out on this one in Mingus, but get jazz pilled, that's all I can tell you. For the Roses, I actually forgot I had this, so that's good that I've remembered so that I don't buy it again. Again, an expansion on Blue, but I think people just thought it was like the same thing. For one thing, this has Byron Grill and Electricity, which are two of her absolute best songs. Hissing of Summer Lawns, Edith and the Kingpin, my beloved. And Miles of Isles. This is a live album, and it's quite interesting because even though it came out like in between Court and Spark and Hissing, where's Court and Spark? Here's Court and Spark. Can't Forget About You. Anyway, this is a live album, and it's quite interesting because even though it came out in between Court and Spark and Hissing of Summer Lawns, you can hear her getting a bit jazzier and a bit more freeform, especially when we get to Jericho. Hounds of Love by Kate Bush. Again, one of the newest things in my collection. I'm so happy I have it. Hang on, I just gotta show you this. Look how pretty. And the colour's actually called Raspberry Beret, which I found hilarious. No, Kate, that's not one of yours. It's a Prince song. Lionheart. Don't sleep on this album, it's still good, okay? I do also have The Kick Inside, if that's more your jam. Red by King Crimson. Probably my favourite King Crimson album. I'm not sure Lark's Tongues is like, it's catching up. But then to be fair, I think that, and I listen to this, and I listen to Starless, and I'm like, you ain't got a chance, buddy. It's annoying because the store I bought this in had this, Lark's, Court, and Discipline. And I was like, well, which one am I supposed to get? But then I remembered Starless. The League Unlimited Orchestra, Love and Dancing. Human League Remixes album. Kind of a weird pick to pick up, but at the same time, it's just so good. Zeppelin 4. What am I going to say about Zeppelin 4? What I will say about Zeppelin 4 is that Going to California it's just so good, and it's so beautiful. I feel like half of this video is just me going, this is so good. Yeah, okay, that's why I've got it on vinyl. Any Other City by Life Without Buildings. This is a really fun post-punk album. The vocals are so unique. It's infectious. The vibes are infectious. I'm so glad I have this. This is probably one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, I'm really happy about this. Birds of Fire by Mahavishnu Orchestra. I really, really, really want In Mountain Flame. But I'll take this because it's just as good. Fans of Black Midi, don't skip this one. Dangerous by MJ. What is that to say? This one's probably my favourite. Or it's this one, Off the Wall. Just depends what kind of vibe I'm feeling. Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. So good. I had to get it twice. No, I already had one. And then the other one was just in another job lot thing. And I thought, well, I'm not gonna say no to owning it twice. Oh wow, okay, I didn't realise. So I believe this one is a German pressing. Can you see it? Can you see it? Come on. So if you look, it says printed in West Germany. This one's just got the standard, like, all that jazz. I had not noticed that before. Good to know. Be the Cowboy by Mitski. I'm repping my Mitski shirt. I love Mitski. This album is so fun. And when I say fun, I mean absolutely emotionally devastating. I've got Laurel Hell, Puberty 2, and The Land is in Hospital, which is the shirt I'm wearing. I really, really, really need Bury Me at Makeout Creek so badly. It's not even funny at this point. Muna self-titled. I could go on and on forever with this, just being like, I love this album, it's really great. You haven't really experienced Muna until you've seen them live. I will say that much. Saw them open for Boy Genius last year and they killed it. And it just puts all the music in a completely different perspective. My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. This album kind of changed my life in a way. Like, if I had to spotlight the albums in this collection that, like, really, truly, deeply mean something to my soul, this would be one of them. In Utero by Nirvana. This is a new pressing, I think. 30th anniversary deal. It's got a like 10-inch inside with some of the B-sides and stuff, which is sick. Yeah, some of the B-sides and other tracks. Little 10-inch deal. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Spotify fans first picture disc, I think. Really, really great album. Maybe I need to get just a standard vinyl copy. I also need Sour. My Mind Makes Noises by Pale Waves. We're in the Pale Waves section. Shout out to when I played Groupie and saw them like 3 times in 2 weeks back in 2018. Got this one signed at an in-store show too. The same store that I saw Fizz at actually. I've also got Unwanted and Who Am I? This Is Why by Paramore. This one was a bit of an impulse buy, but I was like, you know what? I love the album enough. Why not? McCartney 2. Macca breaks up Wings and goes on a bit of an electronic excursion in Scotland. Why not? I love how on vinyl you can see how grainy the photography is. Like, it's just all dots. It's like pointillism. No Parley by Paul Young. Cool, man. Really weird. Weird for a Paul Young album anyway. So by Peter Gabriel. This, again, changed my life kind of. Definitely got me more into pop music, especially classic pop music from the 80s. And shout out those weird track listings between vinyl and CD. It's a shame it doesn't have the Laurie Anderson song. Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. If you couldn't tell from the Boy Genius stuff, I love Phoebe Bridgers. Again, like I said with Mitski, I really need Stranger in the Alps on vinyl, and I keep seeing it and just not getting it. That's gonna have to change soon. Yeah, it's weird. Dark Side, okay, I'm kidding, it's great, but Rid of Me by PJ Harvey. I'm so glad she did her stuff again on vinyl because I really needed this. Just a gorgeous album across the whole thing. Purple Rain by Prince, and also Sign of the Times by Prince. Purple Rain is still great, but you know, this is the one. Color me peach and black. This is such a beautiful color as well, like, it's just gorgeous. Come on, bro. There we go. In Rainbows by Radiohead. Regrettably, the only Radiohead I have on wax. On wax, what do I sound like? On vinyl. Again, bands that changed my life, Radiohead, for sure. I know that's very like, I'm 14 and this is deep core, but Diamond Life by Sade. You gotta get yourself some Sade on vinyl in your life. 1-2 punch of Smooth Operator, Your Love Is King. Ooh. Bro, it's this or Love Deluxe anyway. You think a 1-2 punch is strong? This album's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 punch. What's this album called again? Romance 1600 by Sheila E. This one's insane. It's that whole like Renaissance / like French maximalism thing they were doing. I Love Bizarre is just, it's a masterwork. Juju by Suji and the Banshees. This is the best Banshees album for my money. How can you argue with Spellbound, Halloween, and Monitor? The guitar tone on Monitor, man, it just rips through your skull. Daydream Nation, Sonic Youth. Another one of those, like, it was my favorite album for years and years. Still love it, still go back to it every now and then to just relive the magic. The Lamb as Effigy by Sprain. This is a doozy. Again, like an hour and a half long, doesn't let up the entire time, 2 tracks over 20 minutes. Everything from the sweetest guitar passages to just sheer harsh noise. And the artwork is so sick. Yo. I'm still trying to find a place for this. It needs to be up somewhere. Pictures of Matchstick Men, my status quo. Not actually Pictures of Matchstick Men, I don't think this is actually Pictures of Matchstick Men, I think this is a compilation. It's like the best of their psych rock stuff before they moved on to the blues. Speaking of the blues, we have Power Driver and Quo, my personal favourite. Hotter Than July, Stevie Wonder. Who doesn't love a bit of Stevie? This one's so fun. I mean, Did I Hear You Say You Love Me? I Ain't Gonna Stand For It, As If You Read My Mind, Master Blaster, Cash in Your Face, Happy Birthday's also on this. Somebody bought this for $2.99 back in the day. Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. This was a crazy find. This is like Pantasia with a bit more funk in it, you know. Composed, performed, produced and arranged by Stevie Wonder. What a flex. And Talking Book. This is the first Stevie album I found. I need to like round off the Imperial phase, like Music of My Mind, Inner Visions, Fulfillingness, Songs in the Key of Life, obviously. But I keep finding the other Stevie gems and I'm not gonna pass them up. Crime of the Century by Supertramp. Haven't heard this one, but Breakfast in America is great, so this can't be much different. And Lonerism by Tame Impala. Did you know Tame Impala's just one guy? This had a big effect on me as a kid. I think Tame Impala's kind of the reason I stopped being such a snob about older music versus newer music. Especially Lonerism, because it had keyboards and pop hooks and pop structures. Pop structures, loosely. Isn't that just the life? Isn't that just the life you want to lead? Rubicon by Tangerine Dream. Got into these guys recently after realising I knew regrettably little about the German stuff from the 70s other than Can and Noi. They're really great. I'm looking for a copy of Phaedra. But Rubicon's great and I took a chance on this one and look how stunning this is. Okay, it's time to talk about Taylor Swift. Not that there's much to say, I'm just a huge Taylor Swift fan. We've got Evermore, Fearless Taylor's version, Folklore, Long Pond Sessions, Lover, Midnights, Red Taylor's version, Reputation, Picture Disc, Speak Now Taylor's version, 1989 Taylor's version, and 1989 Taylor's version, Tangerine Edition. It does have an extra track on it, it's not just a different colour. Marquee Moon by Television, again, another one of the great albums of that period in New York rock. See No Evil and Elevation. Oh. Also the title track is great and Venus is great. Probably one of the most influential albums ever. Tori Amos' Little Earthquakes B-sides. Another Record Store Day run. Still in the shrink, I think. I don't think I opened it. The Slider by T-Rex. Haven't heard it. Kept it because the cover photo was taken by Ringo Starr. And also because I should get into T-Rex at some point. White Light, White Heat by the Velvet Underground. This is a repress which has some alternate takes and other material on another disc. I think that's pretty neat. I didn't really care about that. I just love Sister Ray. Look how cool they are. Elephant by the White Stripes. This is my favourite White Stripes album. This is like a 20th anniversary thing, I want to say. Yeah, it's like this translucent red. Sick. Band on the Run by Wings. I think the person who gave me this gave me the Stereo Hard Day's Night as well. Such a fun cover as well. Like, just get all your buddies in a room and pretend that you're escaping prison. Wolf Alice, Blue Weekend. This is another picture disc. It's such a gorgeous album. You know, I didn't think they could top the last one, and then they did. But then when the last one came out, I didn't think they could top the one before that, and they did. So I can't believe I almost forgot Wizard. This is Wizard, bro. This thing has got it all. You want multi-track drums, you want backwards sax, you want Elvis pastiche. You got it, bro. Also, don't skip out on Boulders or Mustard, his solo albums. Mustard in particular is like basically one of my favorite albums of all time, especially at the moment. He kind of like wants to be Brian Wilson in places and succeeds, and it's really great. This is the 3D EP by XTC. The earliest thing they did even before their first full album. Found it, had to pick it up, couldn't not. It's quite fun. Fragile by Yes, I was talking about the German 70s stuff earlier, and that kind of just put me on a general prog kick, and so I finally listened to Yes, and they are just as good as everyone says they are. This is the one with Roundabout, but it's also got Heart of the Sunrise, and I'm really loving The Fish at the moment. But my favourite has to be Lalea. Deepened their sound after Fragile, especially like on this and Topographic Oceans. They really tried to go into new directions and into new territory, and on this it really pays off. Especially Sound Chaser, oh my god. Afterburner by ZZ Top. This was in a job lot, but I couldn't let it go because it's got Sleeping Bag and Velcro Fly. Now we have A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships by the 1975. They are Marmite, if Marmite was ever Marmite. Also, I gotta say, their attention to detail on the artwork across their releases is just so... and the colours of these records. Get into it. So we have Brief Inquiry, Being Funny in a Foreign Language. This one's a really beautiful, I like it when you sleep. You are so beautiful, yet so unaware. This one's just clear, but that's fine. Live with the Royal Philharmonic. This was in Blackpool, I think around when I Like It When You Sleep came out. I remember listening to it live on the radio, so to have it come out last year on Record Store Day was just such a beautiful full circle moment. Notes on Conditional Form. The sleeve is like hard, it's so cool. But the vinyl is so bright. Like, I ordered neon yellow, sure, but like, there's neon yellow and then there's like, you know that one torch that's like really bright? Yeah, it feels like that. That's the light that shines on Cillian Murphy during Oppenheimer. And the self-titled, which I also think is clear. And last but by no means least, Hi Barbie. The music from this film's great. This film's great. Again, really, really bright. It looks orange on the camera, that's weird. The only thing I'm upset about with this one is that it doesn't have Ryan Gosling's version of Push by Matchbox 20, because that song. And there we have it, that's all of my LPs. Now, I do have some 7-inch singles, 12-inch singles, and a couple like 10-inch EPs. So maybe I'll do those in the future if people want to see those. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed me rambling. I'm gonna listen to some of these and try and edit this down at least a bit more than I did the last one. It's like an hour and a half long. I just can't do that to you guys again, or to myself. Putting that on the internet? Okay, bye.